This is a story about a man who managed to turn a simple beverage into a global culture and become the embodiment of the American dream. Today, we will tell you about Howard Schultz, a man whose passion and determination led to the creation of one of the most famous and successful companies in the world, Starbucks. This is a story of struggle, the pursuit of perfection, and the importance of believing in one's dream. Let's find out how he managed to change the lives of millions of people with a single cup of coffee. Howard Schultz was born on July 19, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York, to a family of a former U.S. Army serviceman and later a truck driver named Fred Schultz and his wife Elaine. The family had 3 children. Despite working hard to provide a decent future for their children, the family was poor. They couldn't even imagine that their son would become one of the richest businessmen in the United States. The future billionaire's childhood was spent in a neighborhood of low-income families where there was nothing but a basketball court. Most people there were extremely poor, and it was evident that children from this area were considered entirely ordinary. Therefore, Howard always knew how challenging it would be for him to break free from poverty. However, his dream of becoming successful was stronger than any obstacles. As a young boy, Howard often observed his father trying to find a job that would meet his expectations. When Howard was 7 years old, his father broke his leg while at work. Since he didn't have health insurance, the subsequent financial difficulties faced by the family left an indelible mark on the boy's memory. Howard once said, "I saw my father losing his sense of dignity and self-respect. I'm certain that it was mostly because he was treated like an ordinary laborer." At the age of 12, Howard got his first job. He started by selling newspapers and later worked at a local cafe. The boy faced a rather tough experience when he turned 16. He worked at a food store where he had to stretch heights. This grueling work only made Howard stronger and strengthened his desire to achieve success in the future. Being physically strong, Schultz excelled in sports and earned an athletic scholarship at Northern Michigan University, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in communications in 1975. After graduating from university, Howard Schultz worked as a sales manager for Xerox for 3 years before joining the Swedish company Hammarplast, where he sold household appliances, including coffee grinders, to companies like Starbucks. One day, Schultz discovered that a small company was purchasing his coffee makers much more frequently than some other popular stores. Howard decided to meet with the owners of Starbucks and traveled to Seattle. After trying Starbucks coffee, Howard immediately fell in love with it, as it was far better than anything he had tasted before. Later, Schultz recalled, "I walked out and whispered to myself, 'My God, what an amazing business! What an amazing city! I want to be a part of this.'" It was love at first sight. The company had its own creed that made its stores popular in Seattle. They effectively taught customers the art of making coffee. Such an approach and enthusiasm impressed 29-year-old Schultz, and he practically begged to be hired at Starbucks. He was denied for a long time, but eventually, he was offered a position as the director of marketing at Starbucks with a salary less than half of what he earned at Hammarplast. Howard saw the tremendous potential of this business and realized that he wanted to devote his life to Starbucks. Therefore, he agreed to work there even under such inconvenient conditions. In 1982, he moved to Seattle. In 1983, Howard brought the recipes for latte and cappuccino from Milan, which tripled Starbucks sales. What impressed him the most was the concept of Italian cafes. They were not just stores, but places for social gatherings and relaxation. In the United States, at that time, this role was fulfilled by fast food restaurants. In 1985, Schultz proposed focusing on creating a chain of coffee houses, but the company's CEO refused. Believing in his idea, Schultz resigned from Starbucks to open his own chain of coffee houses called Il Giornale, which ultimately achieved rapid success. 2 years later, with the help of investors, Schultz purchased Starbucks and merged it with Il Giornale. subsequently becoming the CEO and chairman of Starbucks. For a long time, the company experienced rapid success. In 2000, Schultz decided to hand over his responsibilities as president and CEO to Owen Smith while retaining his position as chairman of the board and chief global strategist. With less responsibility and more time, Schultz was able to pursue other business ventures such as an Italian restaurant chain and healthy food product stores and spend more time with his family. Today, no company sells more coffee beverages to more people in more places than Starbucks. By 2014, Starbucks had more than 21,000 stores worldwide with a market capitalization of $60 billion. Howard Schultz is not just the man behind the coffee purchasing revolution. He also changed the lexicon of millions of people who had never heard of cappuccino before Starbucks. Now, cappuccino, mocha, latte, and numerous trendy coffee terms have become part of our everyday language. Despite the enormous success of Starbucks and the wealth is brought to Schultz and others, he said to Business Journal Portland in 1995, "My success has never been about money. Never. It's about our passion for coffee."